Ruth.
Come to find out, they needed the new plan.
Well, I got that one.
Yep, that's on.
Call meeting to order, please all rise for the pledge of allegiance. Yes. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
They got their access and come to find out.
We need a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Now, second.
Been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Police report.
You do have a copy of the report in your packet where there was 18 total calls for the village.
Fire report.
Again, you have the report in your packet. They had 36 total runs for the month of September, 3 being in the village, and they were all medicals.
County Commissioner, he comes in a little late, I guess we'll just let him talk when he shows up. Planning Commission.
I wasn't available for the meeting, so.
They had nothing new on their agenda.
I didn't think there was, so
Okay.
here's another work game.
TDA, biggest thing really discussed was the 2-member vacancy and getting a new chairman to chair the position.
And we do have the appointments down
Right,
and the resignation down on new business.
so. There wasn't much of anything.
No, it's kind
Other
of nice.
than that,
We're arguing, we
about it.
got everything.
Attorney report, you're probably all below or
No,
something?
there's one that you didn't put in,
Oh.
so, I'm gonna deal with it now. I have in front of you a package, I'll go through this as quickly as possible because it's more paper than it looks. The first one is a proposed amendment to the water ordinance. The state is prompting us to tweak our water ordinance dealing with cross connections. Some of the changes are just easy, we're changing, the Eagles name, you know, that they used to be the Department of Environmental Quality, they changed their name, so that there's a change because of that. But the second page of where you see a red line version, the second page of that has some minor changes dealing with instances in which, when they have to do testing of, it should be backflow preventer, devices. These are devices where, let's say you have a hookup with an industrial site and the water goes in, you have to make sure you have a backflow preventer so that the water can't come back out of the industrial system back into your regular water system. And they added a couple more categories where they want this testing done. And that would include on relocation or after any repair, which is, we've already run these by our water operator and they say it's really not a problem. We've also added a line dealing with the qualifications of the person that has to do this. We just say they have to be qualified, however Eagles says they are. And the reason we put that very vaguely is because when certain parties get in office, they want to add additional conditions in there over what qualifications you have to do a certain job. And so rather than try to chase the politics every time, we're just gonna say whatever qualifications you say they have to have, and that's what a person is gonna have, and F&B I'm sure keeps track of that too, so. So that's the first thing, and so we would recommend approval of that amendment. And the second thing is the one that says cross-connection control program for the Village of Metamora. This is pretty much adopted through the rules of Eagle. They want every municipality that has a water system to have these policies and procedures that you go through in terms of inspecting and taking care of things and testing them. So our recommendation is that we just adopt these for the village. They would not be published. This is just sort of on the side to the ordinance. But most of them are relatively common sense. We share the same goal they do, which is We don't want a nasty contaminant backflowing out of an industrial system back into our residential water system in such a way that it's gonna cause contamination to people and they're drinking things they don't wanna drink. So those are the two things I would present to the village, to adopt the proposed amendment to the water ordinance as presented, and adopt and secondly, in a separate motion, to adopt the cross-connection control program for the Village of Metamora as we were presented in front of you. It's boring, but if there's ever was contamination, you're probably grateful that you have these kind of procedures in place.
First time, I guess I'll entertain a motion to adopt the amendment of the water ordinance.
I'll make a motion to adopt the amendment to the water ordinance.
I'll say.
And moved and seconded to adopt the.
Was that doing both of them at once?
No.
No, this is
Adopt
a
it,
separate
do it,
motion.
Okay.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Next, entertain a motion for the cross-section connection control program.
I will make that motion.
I'll second.
And moved and seconded to approve the cross-connection control program. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Everything else I have is on the agendas.
Council communication.
Two things, I wanted to let the council know that, the Christmas lights will be getting installed on November 1st. I got the quote a little bit late, I got it the day after the DDA meeting, so hopefully they're okay with it.
That was kind of mentioned in
I did.
the funding.
But they're gonna be up November 1st, so hopefully no issues, everything will be all lit up. And then, last month it was brought up about our ORV needing the, ORV sticker. I contacted DNR, Mike Heron, he is the ORV and snowmobile specialist, and he said, no, we do not. So I just wanna let you know that I did verify that.
Okay.
Are we gonna have a Christmas tree lighting?
As of right now, no, unless somebody pulls one together, the school is not doing one. So
Can we do it without the school?
if you wanna get together a group of people and sing, go right for
Well,
it.
we used to just hand out sheets of music and people used to just.
It's always been the second graders from Murphy that sang and did it, as long as I can remember.
Okay.
As long as I can remember, but
You're not as old as I am.
Okay, if there's nothing else under council communications, I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make that motion to approve the consent agenda, please.
I'll move and seconded to approve the consent agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes. Public time.
Where to start today? There's so much. So the first complaint on there is about Homer Park and the parking, because going through old minutes, you'll see on the second page and quoted in there, Attorney Denney himself said there should be no parking in Harmon Park per the deed, which I have, and you can also get for yourselves. So I don't know why it's been allowed all these years. Again, it's your own words, at least as quoted there. Next, I brought up hay mowing in Metamora Community Park. From an environmental standpoint, that's not the worst thing, right? However, I very much fear that that hay mowing prohibits people or inhibits use of the park, and along with no signs being out there for that park that's been there for 10 years, people still think it's private property because there's agriculture going on it. But additionally, Tina told me there's no contract with the person mowing. So is there a liability insurance on file? Which was one of your criteria last month for choosing a contractor for the winter maintenance. That was $5,000 more. But agricultural work is quite dangerous, and I can tell you that park in particular is dangerous because as I have brought up numerous times over the years, the steel rods left behind, sometimes in the middle of the field. But also dirt bike parts. Numerous times when I used to walk out there, I would pick up dirt bike parts, and those could get into the machinery and that kind of thing, so there's liability for the village. I just, and hay goes up and down in price, but some years hay is really valuable, even the kind of hay from out there. And people were coming from across the country to get Michigan hay in certain years when it was scarce. It just seems super odd to me that you don't have a contract with someone then taking village property from there. I just think that's something that should be looked at. It should be priced out. I don't know why you aren't using the standard process of bids and, again, looking at the numbers on that. I'll go through the regular complaints that are in there with pictures, because yesterday morning I took a little walk in Metamora Community Park just wanted to see if it looks exactly the same as it does. And by the way, fresh dirt bike track going right through. But you can see the condition of the track, of the trail that's at the back of the property. And that's important because in this month's complaint, you'll see that there were some folks driving around the village long past sunset. It was getting dark. The police did pull them over up here. They live on Winding Pine. They were probably using the rail trail to then go all the way through Metamora Community Park in the dark. I want you to picture them driving on this trail in the dark. There are now places where the track on the trail is less than 5 feet wide. Golf carts are 4 feet wide. There is no give, and also there are roots, there are rocks. It is just really dangerous. And then they'd be driving through there with no lights in the pitch black, with maybe their cell phone lights. Same people still parking on the sidewalk. Lots of driving after sunset. Just amazing. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other public time? Unfinished business, roadside park restaurant.
We're just leaving that on as unfinished, please.
Water main extension.
Just a short report, we did present the proposed amended water agreement to the Southern Group. They asked for a conference call, so we met together, or we had a conference call together with the attorney and with their engineers and their consultant on the project. And of course, their number one concern was the cash cushion that we had put in the agreement last time. And they spent most of their time suggesting that we were worrying too much about water, and that their system was really safe and designed really well. And so our engineer, Paul Amira, said, well, why don't you send me the design documents for the project? And that was a couple weeks ago, and they still haven't gotten us anything. So I don't see that convincing us to change our mind, or for me to recommend something different, but we'll do our due diligence, and it'll be up to them to decide whether they want to go along with it.
Okay. We're still trying to do our part, but it's just getting them to.
They don't wanna do theirs.
Shouldn't be any real questions on that, I guess, because we know what's been, for how many years?
This has been a thorn for a long time.
New business then, I guess. DDA resignation. We did actually get a copy of Carol's written resignation, and we didn't approve it last time, so
Right.
basically need a motion to accept her resignation so we can try to put 2 new members on.
I'll make that motion.
Then moved and seconded to approve Carol's resignation. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay. DDA appointments. First one is, that I've talked to a few times, Paul Miklowicz.
Hollowich, close enough.
I'm bad with names, I apologize.
Especially yours.
He owns
Well, yeah.
Birmingham. He owns Birmingham Realty right in town in here. He is also a township resident, and he seems really concerned about wanting to do things. So first, I would kind of like to nominate him to fill the one position. But we are also looking for a co-chairman that we're gonna try to get somebody to volunteer at the next DDA meeting, or to be the main chair.
Yeah.
Dave Best is the co-chair, and he's getting tired of having to run all the meetings. So, like I said, I'm gonna nominate Paul right now, put it to a vote. So,
Do I do roll call? No, somebody has to make a motion, right?
I'll make a motion.
Okay.
I moved and seconded to accept the nomination of Paul to the
What did I just do?
DDA.
You just got volunteered, folks.
Yes,
Do you want me to do roll call? Mr. Denney?
Too late.
That's not necessary.
Okay, I didn't think so.
All in favor, say aye. Like it?
Aye.
Opposed?
No turning back now, Paul.
You're
Yeah,
up.
can't turn back now.
Thank you.
And the other one that was turned in was Lee DeBella,
DeBella.
on Smart Dog.
And she lives here in the village.
Lives in the village, so I would like to nominate her to sit on the DDA board.
And she is currently on the chamber also, so she's trying to.
Yeah,
get
she's
involved
also
in
on the
community.
chamber, well, Paul's also in the Lions Club, so it kinda helped get everybody
Get a little balance
Right.
in there.
a little better group going maybe. So is somebody gonna make a motion to accept?
I make a motion to accept her.
Leah DeBella?
Yeah.
Okay.
Been moved and seconded.
Wait, which one of you wanted the second, Larry or Michelle?
Sure.
Thank you.
To accept Leah for the DDA board. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Next in under new business, yes, it's water meter change out.
Well, I've been talking to a few different companies about changing out all the water meters in the village. It's been, I think since 2000, since the majority of them has been changed out. It is on our capital improvement plan, it was number one in the waters. They estimated 168,000 eroded to do it. I've gotten quotes from 3 different companies. One was extremely high, it was 143,000, and that was not even including the install. Another one was 136,000, and then SLC is 135,000, $135,010.85, and that includes everything. That includes them coordinating with all of the residents, changing out the meters. If it's not something we do now, it's something we should definitely look into. As meters get older, they start running slower, and then the income is not there.
We don't have the best water for them either.
Right.
Right.
I know it's a large item to do, a large project. I was going to, if the council agreed that we wanted to look forward to doing this, I was going to reach out to the DDA and see if it's something they would help fund. They, last year had $150,000 earmarked for water and sewer upgrades. This year in their budget, they lowered that to $50,000. But I was gonna see if they can pull it from somewhere else for this year, since this year's budget's almost done. Budget ends March 31st. And see if they could take it from somewhere else, or a couple places just for this year to get this project done.
When would they expect to do the project?
They could still get it done this year. He said, we don't have, I think we only have maybe 2 meters that are in pits in yards, so they said it's not a problem. They can come in and do it all winter long and get it done.
Were they all gonna use the same meter?
Yes. There'll be a couple that are different sizes, like you'd have the industrial and like the White Horse have larger meters, but they would all be the same brand. And then also it would cut down on cost of meter reading cost, because they would all be radio.
They can just basically do a drive-by, right?
All you have to do is drive around town and it'll
Literally, our
pick them
town's
all
small
up.
enough, you can take the module out to the 4 corners, basically, they said. And as long as the hills and everything are okay, we should be able to get all the reads from one spot for the town, because we're so small. But I don't know if it's something you guys wanna think about, or at least maybe approach the DDA and see what their thought is on funding.
Well, let's see what kind of help we can get.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't wanna keep putting it off too long if we wanna try to get it done in this fiscal year also.
True.
We do have the funds in our
We're-
water.
The only other thing I'm getting at for one or two, we're talking about doing some major dredging, maybe the lagoons.
Mm-hmm,
We know that's gonna be an expensive one.
right.
Which one would we rather have the DDA help on?
Well, when put in the, I'm just saying, when we put it in the capital improvement plan, Brian said that'd be the first priority was the water meters. That's why I kinda was starting to
That's,
go down
that's
the
what I was
list.
kinda wondering.
So-
And get that out of this budget and then hopefully,
Pardon me?
Does Brian live within sniffing distance of that lagoon?
No.
No, he's about 2 or
So
3
you would
towns.
have different
north.
priorities, maybe he did.
Yeah, it hit the other day too. Yeah.
So I
then we
mean,
could work on that in the next year's
Right.
budget. Okay. We haven't even got any real prices on that yet.
no, but like I said, we do also have the funding in our budget. If maybe we could even get them to help fund half of it. You know, I'm not asking for them to do it all.
Sorry about that. Thought I cut it, that part off.
So,
Let's see what we can get out of
But
it. We gotta start
that's number
somewhere.
one on the capital improvement plan. I think we better try to move forward with it.
I mean, we wanna move forward with it even if we're not going to get any help with the funding? Or do we
Well-
wanna ask them first and then wait another month to even start scheduling this?
Are there any other places you could try to get pricing from, or is that about?
I mean, I got 3 of them.
Okay,
Actually, I had 4, but the other one was so high I didn't even include it,
right.
so. Mike,
SLC's the biggest one in the area,
are they?
yes.
I do know that I spoke to a
They
couple other
supply
communities that have
most of the
used them.
municipalities with
Yeah.
meters, so.
I don't have a meter, but it seems like we would wanna get started on
Right, especially because they have to contact the homeowners individually and try to plan for them, set up time for them to go in and do it.
Do they have to
so.
go in each house?
Yes.
I wasn't sure if it was strictly the external.
No,
Wherever the meters, that's where they gotta go, and
right.
their majority are in the basements or
Mhm.
should be not in the crawl space anymore, they should be,
Right,
yeah. They still are, but we don't have too many crawl spaces around left.
we do
Is
some.
there a cost to the homeowner or
No,
business owner?
No,
So that's
Your
property
monthly-
of the village, I assume, right?
yes.
yes,
So you can't take it out.
So they
so,
don't
I
need
mean,
that
I
wiring
ideally
up
would
there?
like to get moving on it, at least try to get them started to schedule and everything. Just because I know it is gonna be timely, and if we're trying to do it within this fiscal year, but,
Well, I'd entertain a motion to do that then, and then we'll do a roll vote on it, because it's a lot of money.
I'll make that motion that we, get going with the program, because again, the fiscal year, and so
And that-
we're not trying to work too much in the
and that's
winter
going with the
through.
quote from
Huh?
SLC.
SLC, yes, that was the better price I saw.
Yes. And that company seemed pretty good when I was speaking with them, and they even have knowledge of our billing software. They said they could even come on site free of charge to help with anything like that, so.
They're just down on Dixie Highway, north end of Waterford.
Okay. So we have a motion, do we have a second?
I'll second it.
I've been down in Dixie.
And then roll call. Clark,
Okay,
Morris,
Yay.
Walker,
Yay.
Griswold,
Yes.
Spearing,
Yay.
Kinkade,
Yay.
thank you. I hate to spend that kind of money, but
yeah. Well, we have, it's been mentioned a couple times.
I
Are we losing 1/3 of it? To faulty meters?
yeah, I mean, you never know how much we're losing because of faulty meters,
Yeah,
so,
These all for remote reading?
yes.
it cuts down on labor.
It's coming right up into the 2000s. All the other places I work already have them, so.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Okay, so I did that now. One more public time.
So, Tina, last month you said that the Walkers donated money back after the hay mowing. Who did they donate to?
To the village.
To the village itself. I'm gonna pass this around. So I wanna revisit the social media question that came up last July. And Mr. Denney, your answer kind of made it sound to me at least as though it was settled law. It is not settled law. There are 2 cases currently before the United States Supreme Court, which one went one way, one went the other way in lower court. There are 2 criteria, which every analysis I looked at brought up. One criteria of an official's social media use is, were they doing things that are part of their official duties in that social media space? Because you said it was private space, and again, these courts are not at all settled on this. The other one was, were they cloaked in the authority of their office when they were doing this? And a friend gave me access to Metamora, Michigan gang, and you knew I was gonna find it, because I had seen this multiple times over the years. You doing your job in that group.
Okay.
And I will pass this around. So, anyone's water bill seemed higher than normal, and Tina's answering back with specifics about water bills, specifics saying she looked up their water bills, stuff about the village Kubota and mowing, not mowing, but plowing. And she said, well, she's even saying, well, you don't want this, so I'll tell them to stop mowing your section, or stop plowing your section. You are doing your work in a group you administer.
Okay.
That is discussion, the most current events discussion about this area that I have found. And it is 4.8 million people thousand people when I checked it today. That's an awful lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just last week, someone was looking for a Kubota mechanic, and you were saying which one you did at work, and you didn't specify where you work, but everybody knows.
Okay.
And you have done it repeatedly, said you're part of the village. So the smell, last year about this time, when the lagoon smell, you were answering back with the authority of the village, and you were saying, we have.
Okay.
Yeah. Shouldn't be doing that. It's unethical, and this village is liable for your usage
Okay.
of that social media group. You have denied me my First Amendment rights by kicking me out of there, or someone kicked me out of you. You blocked me on Facebook, and then I got kicked out of the group.
Yeah, I did block you personally. That has nothing to do with village-related issues. So.
It does, because you're doing village business in the group. You shouldn't be
Group has
an
nothing to do with my
administrator.
personal page, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you do
my personal
village
page.
business through your personal account. So I'll pass this around. That goes with it.
I would just note that my last opinion was I gave, before the Supreme Court granted leave, or granted cert to hear the case. The most recent case is from the Sixth Circuit, which is still binding on us, which is the one from Port Huron, which said that it wasn't public. I fully acknowledge that we're likely to get some guidance from the U.S. Supreme Court on what rules they plan to apply to these situations.
Can you acknowledge?
We probably won't know it could be as late as late June of next year before we get an opinion from them.
For village liability, ethics-wise even, her use of this group, her administration of this group for years now is problematic.
The most recent opinion we have from the federal court that binds our geographical district says it is a private page, it does not result in public liability.
But again, that's one of the court cases before the Supreme Court. So it's not settled. It's not at all settled.
At the time,
And
the Supreme Court had not agreed with the case. So don't take my comments out of context.
Okay, if you feel like I took them out of context. But also, what she does in it is closer to other cases that I've seen, that I have read.
I would disagree. And those cases aren't from the Sixth Circuit.
But that's not the only thing that matters. All right, so have any of you read the ethics handbook from MML? It's free online. I really suggest every single one of you read it. Because there are things that consistently come up in small town life that are covered in there, and that this village should consider writing a code of ethics. Also read the MML handbook for municipal officials. Awful lot of stuff in there that could really help with things. Like someone should not present their opinion as the will of the village. That's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you. So was it public time?
So what is the roadside park restroom? What is that?
That is,
What was it?
we have spoke about putting, basically, like park restrooms over here instead of using the porta johns.
Oh, okay.
They had some plans of vaulted toilets, there was plans of, like, one that looked like a barn at one time when the DDA wanted to change some of the plans, but it kind of just sat stagnant for a while, so.
Oh, okay. All right.
Something that looks maybe a little nicer than porta johns.
Something that looks a little nicer than just an old porta john. That's there, you know, something you could decorate around a little bit,
Right.
kind of, you know,
And last
but it all ends up costing lots of money, so.
Well, we have that money from all our water bills, from those new meters.
Too bad water money can't go towards general stuff.
Okay, I'll entertain one more motion then, I guess.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you, everybody, for coming out tonight.